Welcome to a deep dive into the legal clash between Drake and UMG recordings. What's up? So, okay, before we get started, I just want to let you know that we're going to hear from old boy. He's going to be talking all this stuff, this high-level English and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So just stick with him, but I'm here just in case he go too far, and y'all need to know exactly what he's talking about. I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what the deal is. We got to listen to him because, hey, he's the lawyer, right? And them lawyer types, well, y'all know how they are. But at the end of the day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and make sure you're all right. Cool? Cool. Now, let's get back. In the world of rap, feuds are nothing new. There's Nas and Jay-Z, 50 Cent and Ja Rule, Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, Tupac and Biggie. But when two of the biggest names in the industry, Drake and Kendrick Lamar, went head-to-head in a lyrical battle, it didn't just stay in the music, it spilled into the courtroom. This case isn't just about diss tracks. It's a complex legal battle with serious implications. So, what are we going to do? We'll dissect UMG's motion to dismiss Drake's lawsuit, examining the arguments around defamation. For instance, what is defamation? How is one held responsible for defamation? What impact can defamation have in this case? And what impact will this case have on hip-hop and rap music in the future? We will also look at the U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, case law, and boundaries of artistic expression in rap music. For instance, when it comes to artistic expression, is there such a thing as too far? If so, then when is too far too far? The backdrop to this legal battle is the intense rap feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Rap feuds, a tradition in hip-hop, involve artists exchanging diss tracks that attack and insult each other. But don't take my word for it. Let's look at the case. Back so soon? Okay. Well, while you're here, let's get a few things straight. First, yes, he is an attorney. He just happens to be an attorney that likes hip-hop. Oh well. Second, he's not your attorney. Did you read the disclaimer at the beginning of the video? If not, go check it out and then come back. Third, the vast majority of what's going to be discussed in this video will be what was taken directly from UMG's motion to dismiss. Therefore, nobody can ask any questions on, what was said or what was done. It's coming directly from UMG. All right, get it? Feel me? Cool. Now, back to the video. In the spring of 2024, birds were chirping, bees were buzzing. It was a beautiful day for everyone. And then something happened.
Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey or me? We the big three like we started a
motherfuck the big three. Nigga, it's just big me. Nigga, boom. What? I'm really like that.
Two of the most popular recording artists in the world, Kendrick Lamar and Aubrey Drake Graham, engaged in a high-profile battle over the course of approximately 2 months. They exchanged increasingly vitriolic and incendiary diss tracks, sometimes responding within hours of each other. Drake encouraged the feud, for example, when he felt that Lamar was taking too long to respond. Drake released a second recording in which he goaded Lamar to continue the public rap battle.
How are you not in the booth? It feel like you kind of removed. You trying to let this shit die down, nah.
Lamar did just that. And collectively, Drake and Lamar released a total of 9 tracks taking aim at each other. Multiple commentators declared Lamar to be the winner of the battle. Not like us.
They not like us.
The penultimate track in the feud is the subject of this complaint. The recording and the music were released by Lamar through the defendant UMG on May 4th, 2024. Not Like Us was a massive commercial and artistic success. The record was the best-selling rap recording of 2024 and won the Grammy Award for Record of the Year. and the accompanying music video won the Grammy Award for Best Music Video. The song Not Like Us won the Grammy Award for Song of the Year and has become a ubiquitous cultural phenomenon. Lamar performed the song at the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show to a record audience, and Saturday Night Live parodied it in its recent 50th anniversary special. Not Like Us, like all of the recordings in the feud between Drake and Lamar, and like the many notorious diss tracks throughout rap history, consist of a series of hyperbolic insults. Drake has been pleased to use UMG's platform to promote tracks leveling similarly incendiary attacks at Lamar, including most significantly that Lamar engaged in domestic abuse and that one of Lamar's business partners and managers is the true father of Lamar's son. But now, after losing the rap battle, Drake claims that Not Like Us is defamatory.
It's been a long fight. It's been a long fight, and I just had to have a warrior spirit, and that's all. So I'm just...
While the complaint focuses almost entirely on Not Like Us, it disregards the other Drake and Lamar diss tracks that surrounded Not Like Us, as well as the conventions of the diss track genre, and thus critically ignores the context of the dispute. Assessed in context, as it must be, Not Like Us clearly conveys non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole. Diss tracks are a popular and celebrated art form centered around outrageous insults, and they would be severely chilled if Drake's suit were permitted to proceed. Drake also alleges that Not Like Us constitutes second-degree harassment, but sues under a criminal statute that does not prescribe speech and has no private right of action. Finally, Drake claims that UMG's promotion of Not Like Us violates New York General Business Law, Section 349, but fails to allege any of the elements for that claim. Notably, less than 3 years ago, Drake himself signed a public petition criticizing the trend of prosecutors using artists' creative expression against them. When it comes to rap, the final work is a product of the artist's vision and imagination. Drake was right then, and Drake is wrong now. The complaint's unjustified claims against UMG are no more than Drake's attempt to save his face for his unsuccessful rap battle with Lamar. Not Like Us, the recording at the center of this action, was released as part of a rap beef between Drake and Lamar. The artist feud reportedly traces its origin back more than a decade, but broke into the public domain in early 2024 when Drake and Lamar began trading diss tracks, sometimes within the same hour. Drake and Lamar's feud was not unique in the world of rap. Rap feuds where artists trade diss tracks insulting each other have existed pretty much since the beginning of rap in the 1970s. A number of storied feuds have occurred throughout rap history, including the Roxanne Wars, involving Roxanne Shante and the rap group UTFO, as well as feuds between Nas and Jay-Z, Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, and Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. Drake is a prolific rap feud combatant, having traded diss tracks with a number of artists, including Pusha T and Meek Mill. The public feud between Drake and Lamar traces back to the October 2023 recording First Person Shooter by Drake and jcole, in which jcole rapped that he, Drake, and Lamar were the big three. In response, Lamar appeared on the March 2024 track Like That with artists Future and Metro Boomin, in which he rejected the notion that Drake and jcole were his equals, rapping, "Motherfuck the big three. N-word, it's just Big Me." Drake responded in April 2024 with the track Push-Ups, distributed by UMG. The recording takes aim at Lamar, insulting, among other things, his height, and also his career. He also encouraged the feud, stating, quote, And that effing song.
In that fucking song, y'all got to not start the beef with us. This shit been brewing in a pot, now I'm heating up.
Then, seemingly impatient with the time it was taking Lamar to respond, Drake released Tailor-Made Freestyle on Instagram. The recording uses artificial intelligence to make it sound as if the voices of deceased rap icon Tupac Shakur and rapper Snoop Dogg are rapping Drake's lyrics. In their voices, Drake taunts Lamar for his delay. More notably, for present purposes, Drake urges Lamar in the voice of Tupac to, quote, talk about Drake liking young girls on Lamar's next track. Kendrick, we need you.
Kendrick, we need ya. The West Coast savior. Ain't great in your name, it's some hip-hop history.
In the voice of Snoop Dogg, Drake then calls on Lamar to release a new diss track. But still, you gotta show.
You gotta show this fucking aisle who's boss on the West. Now's the time to really make a power move. Cause right now.
And in his own voice, Drake raps. Since, like that,
You need another week to figure out how to improve. What the fuck is taking so long? We waiting on you.
Lamar responded with 2 tracks, Euphoria, which was released by UMG on April 30th, followed by 616 in LA, released by Lamar on Instagram on May 3rd. Lamar raps with Drake in Euphoria, the famous actor we once
knew is looking paranoid and now spiraling.
and a pathetic
Master manipulator, I can smell the tails on you now.
He criticizes Drake's music. I make
music that electrify him. You make music that pacify him.
Attacks his use of Tupac's voice in Tailor-Made Freestyle. I'm ready to double
the wage. I'd rather do that than let a Canadian nigga make Pac turn in his grave.
Attacks his parenting.
Got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that.
And insults his character and racial identity.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
Lamar's insults continue in 616 in LA, where he raps that members of Drake's OVO team are disloyal. Quote, have you ever thought that OVO is working for me? Fake bully, I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it. Drake responded approximately 14 hours later on the evening of May 3rd with the track Family Matters, distributed once again by UMG. The track is a scathing attack on Lamar, laden with hyperbolic slurs. Drake attacks, among other things, Lamar's authenticity. You just acting like an activist. It's make-believe. Mocks his height. He always said I overlooked him. I was staring straight. These bars go over Kenny's head, no matter what I say. States that Lamar cheats on his fiancée. Why did you move to New York? Is it because you're living that bachelor life? Proposed in 2015, but don't want to make her your actual wife? I'm guessing this wedding ain't happening, right? Because we know the girls that you actually like. Your darkest secrets are coming to light. And asserts that one of Lamar's children was fathered by one of his business partners and managers, Dave Free. Your baby mama captions, always screaming, save me. You did her dirty all your life. You're trying to make peace. I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free. Don't make it Dave Free, because if your GM is your BM secret BD, then this is all making plenty effing sense to me. Drake also raps that Lamar physically abuses his fiancée, stating, when you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense because she bigger than you? And they hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen, unquote. The recording also makes various other allusions to violence, including gun violence. Drake opens that he has emptied the clip over friendlier jabs, asks, which one of my so-called N-words need a shell from the clip, and raps, get this ass whooping, I'm handing them out. The track closes with Drake stating, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. There's nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to hide. Multiple gunshots also sound at various points in the recording. Lamar responded with 2 more back-to-back tracks, Meet the Grams, followed by Not Like Us. In Meet the Grams, released approximately 30 minutes after Family Matters, Lamar directs his insults to various members of Drake's immediate family and to Drake himself. Not Like Us was released on May 4. Like the diss tracks before it, Not Like Us consists of hyperbolic insults. Lamar calls Drake names. Why you trolling like a bee? Ain't you tired? And it was God's plan to show y'all the liar. He mocks Drake's OVO brand and image. What OVO for? The other vaginal option? P. And what is the owl? Bird N-word and bird bees. Makes hyperbolic threats of violence. You think the Bay gonna let you disrespect Pac and N-word? I think that Oakland show is gonna be your last stop N-word. Attacks Drake's personal relationships, including alleging that Drake had relations with rapper Lil Wayne's girlfriend. Effed on Lil Wayne girl while he was in jail, that's conniving. And calls him an effing colonizer, inferring Drake exploits other artists for fame and financial benefit. Taking up Drake's invitation in tailor-made freestyle to talk about Drake liking young girls. Lamar also makes various statements at issue in the complaint, including, "Say Drake, I hear you like 'em young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any B that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. And why you trolling like a B? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor?" He also raps, "And Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boy, certified PDFs." And states, "And your homeboy needs a subpoena. That predator move in flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch." Drake responded the following day with The Heart Part 6. There, Drake doubles down on his statement that one of Lamar's children was fathered by Mr. Free. Quote, "And why isn't Whitney denying all of the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale? And, like if Dave really effed your girl and got her pregnant, talk about breeding resentment." And reiterates his claim of domestic abuse. "I don't want to fight with a woman beater. It feeds your nature." Drake states that he expected the alleged defamatory statements in Not Like Us. This Epstein angle was the I expected. TikTok videos you collected and dissected, and denies them. For instance, he raps, "Only effing with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never look twice at no teenager." The track also contains further references to violence, including "I'll slit your throat with a razor," and yeah, "bullets that I'm stuffing in each chamber. Your ass in extreme danger." Lamar is widely perceived to have won the rap feud. For instance, there was a New York article asking, "Has there ever been as clear a loser as Drake?" Or another New York Times article noting Lamar's unofficially winning a high-profile diss war with Drake. Not Like Us has also been a massive commercial success and artistic success. It has been heard or viewed nearly 6 billion times and was the best-selling rap song of 2024. It set multiple records, including most single-day streams for a rap song in the US, the fastest song to reach 300 million on Spotify streams, and the most streamed song in a 7-day period. Within the first week of its release, Not Like Us debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 list and ranked first on YouTube's weekly top music videos chart from July 4 to August 8, 2024. It has maintained its popularity. On October 7, 2024, Billboard reported that the recording had reached 45.4 million in total audience impressions on the radio. It has also been used in over 1,300,000 videos on TikTok. Rolling Stone deemed it the biggest moment in music this year. The song recording and video of Not Like Us were collectively nominated for 5 Grammy Awards, as voted on by over 13,000 music industry peers, including Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, and Best Music Video, and won in all 5 categories. Now that we understand what took place during the feud, now let's get into the case. First, there's the argument. The first thing we have to do in a motion to dismiss is set the legal standard. Basically what that does is it explains to the court and to everyone else what rules are going to be used in determining whether the court should or should not dismiss this action. So, let's get to it. In order to survive a motion to dismiss under Rule 12b-6, a complaint must plead enough facts to state a claim for relief that is plausible on its face. Okay, so everybody has rules. Baseball, rules. Basketball, rules. Football, rules. Even the court system, you guessed it, rules. In this case, Drake picked the venue for the lawsuit because he filed it. And the venue that he picked was the federal court. In fact, it was the United States District Court, Southern District of New York. Anyway, I started off by saying that everybody has rules and the court has rules. The court in this case has to follow the federal rules of civil procedure. And in these rules, they have a Rule 12b-6 that allows UMG or any other defendant to file a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. Now, this is important because if y'all ever been to court, y'all understand this here shit is expensive. So if you can get this done in the beginning of the case without going through a long, drawn-out case, then more power to you. And that's what UMG is trying to do. The court can credit only well-pleaded, non-conclusory factual allegations and must disregard legal conclusions. In certain circumstances, the court may permissibly consider documents other than the complaint in ruling on a motion under 12b-6, such as documents incorporated into the complaint by reference and matters of which the court may take judicial notice. Courts in this district have observed that there is a particular value in resolving defamation claims at the pleading stage, so as not to protract litigation through discovery and trial and thereby chill the exercise of constitutionally protected freedoms. That is, in defamation cases, Rule 12b-6 not only protects against the cost of meritless litigation, but provides assurance to those exercising their First Amendment rights that doing so will not needlessly become prohibitively expensive. Now that we understand the rules that are set forth that the court should, for all intents and purposes, abide by, we come to the arguments. UMG's first argument is that Drake fails to state a claim for defamation. According to UMG, Drake, who had no concerns using UMG's platform to publish slurs about Lamar during their rap feud, now claims that Not Like Us is defamatory. These allegations, which are directly aimed at chilling legitimate artistic expression, safeguarded by the First Amendment and New York law, are meritless. But in order for Drake to do his defamation complaint, bro got to make a good case. First, he got to show that the bad things that were said about him were actually about him, which that shouldn't be too hard because, the lyric is, say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. So we know who they're talking about, unless there's another Drake out there, I don't know. Second, he got to show that people actually heard it or read it. In this particular case, we know that people actually heard it because it got so many streams, it was unbelievable. I think it was like the #1 streaming song of the year or whatever it is. So at the end of the day, he got that. Third, he also got to show whose fault it was. In other words, he got to show that it was UMG's fault and UMG is the one that published it. And fourth, he got to show that what they said about him is false. Well, that's pretty simple and kind of speaks for itself. But he also got to show, fifth, that he had specific financial damages or other types of damages. Oh, and one more thing. Because Drake is a public figure, he also got to show that UMG knew that the statement was false or they were reckless regardless of whether it was false or not. In other words, they really didn't give a damn. They just said it anyway, even though they knew that it might have been false or that it was false. Now, UMG is saying that Drake can't do that. In other words, he can't show that defamation. And here's why. Drake fails to state a claim for defamation because Not Like Us conveys non-actionable opinion and rhetorical hyperbole, not fact, and because Drake cannot adequately allege that UMG acted with actual malice. UMG says that to be defamatory, what was said has to be presented as a fact. And they're saying that that ain't the case. So according to them, Not Like Us is opinion or hyperbole. Y'all know what opinion is because everybody got one. More than likely, y'all will be putting your opinion in the comments, so we got that. Hyperbole, though, it means that something is not meant to be taken literally. For example, you may have heard someone say, "I've told you this 1,000,000 times." Do you actually think that they really mean that they told you that it was 1,000,000 times? No. But what you thought was, it was a lot of times. So it wasn't literal. So basically, Not Like Us, according to UMG, is a matter of opinion, and it's not to be taken literally. But it don't just stop there, because UMG can't just come in and say to the judge, "Yo, judge, hey, this is opinion and hyperbole. Peace out." No, they can't do that, because it just don't work that way. Whether a statement is fact or opinion is a question of law for the court. This includes both the immediate context in which the disputed words appear, as well as the larger context in which the statements were published, including the nature of the particular forum. A statement's tone and apparent purpose may signal that it is not conveying an accurate factual assessment offered by a disinterested observer. For example, tone may indicate non-actionable opinion where it reflects a degree of anger and resentment, where the tenor is rambling, heated, or speculative, or often escalates into the hyperbolic, or where a statement invokes parody, loose or figurative language. Likewise, the broader context informs whether a statement is reasonably understood to convey factual assertions. So the court got to decide whether the statement that was made in Not Like Us is actually fact or opinion. So how do they do that? Well, the court got to do a couple of things. And we ain't gonna go through all of that, but what you need to know is that the bottom line is that the court needs to determine what a reasonable person would think if they heard Not Like Us. So if they heard it, would they think that it was fact, or would they think that it was an opinion? Now, how do they figure out what a reasonable person would do or would think? Well, they look at the context, and they also look at the tone of the statement. Y'all know what I mean. I mean, say for instance, you and your girl or your man's, you know what I'm saying, y'all start talking about a certain situation. And then they try to take what you said and they apply it to something else, totally different. You know, now they done took what you said out of context. And when it comes to tone, most of us have heard the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Well, that's tone. According to UMG, Not Like Us consists of epithets, fire rhetoric, and hyperbole, which is a part of rap music. They say the video shows that it's not facts. For example, the video shows Kendrick whispering to a clown that he sees dead people. This is a nod to the film Sixth Sense, implying that Kendrick won and Drake lost. The video also shows an owl and a piñata. According to UMG, no one would literally think that Drake is an owl piñata. Also, the album has an image of Drake's house in Toronto with 13 sex offender markers. According to UMG, no reasonable person would believe that that was real. So, I mean, when you talk about context, they remind the court that Not Like Us did not show up out of thin air. It was after bros kept battling. You know, Drake had been talking about Kendrick. Kendrick had been talking about Drake. And they had been going back and forth with each other for quite some time, almost to the tune of almost 9 tracks. And on top of that, Drake basically asked Kendrick to call him a PDF file. Remember, in Taylor Made Freestyle, according to UMG, Drake rapped in Tupac's voice and said Kendrick should talk about Drake Kendrick should talk about Drake liking young girls. And even though Kendrick never talked about Millie Bobby Brown, Drake brought her up in The Heart Part 6. According to UMG, that stuff was already out there before Not Like Us was even made, recorded, or distributed. Also, UMG believes that Drake cannot allege that UMG acted with actual malice. Now, you remember what I said earlier about Drake being a public figure? And he also got to show that UMG knew that the statement was false or that it was reckless disregard. And whether it was false or Drake had to allege specific facts that showed actual malice. Well, Drake has not alleged any facts, according to UMG. So we're going to leave that right there. In the next part of the argument, Drake fails to state a claim for harassment in the second degree. According to UMG, under penal law, sections 240.26(3), on the theory that Kendrick Lamar issued a call to violence against Drake in Not Like Us with threats of violence, and that the song thus amounts to incitement. This claim fails for multiple reasons. First, there is no private right of action. Where a penal statute does not expressly confer a private right of action to individuals pursuing civil relief, recovery under such a statute may be had only if a private right of action may be fairly implied. The next argument in UMG's motion to dismiss is that Drake fails to state a claim for harassment in the second degree. Now, in short, Drake makes a claim under New York Penal Code, law section 240.26(3). This section says that a person is guilty of harassment in the second degree when, with an intent to harass, annoy, or alarm another person, he or she engages in a course of conduct or repeatedly commits that act which alarms or seriously annoys such other person, and which serves no legitimate purpose. So even shorter, and according to UMG, this ain't supposed to happen this way because it's a criminal statute and Drake doesn't have the right to enforce the criminal statute as a private citizen. Also, UMG argues that the claim is no good under New York law because the law does not even cover speech. In UMG's next argument, Drake fails to state a claim under NYGBL section 349. Finally, Drake purports to bring a claim under New York General Business Law section 349, which he asserts UMG violated by covertly financially incentivizing third parties to play, stream, and promote the records, and then by making materially false and misleading representations of the recording's popularity to consumers. These allegations are entirely bogus, but in all events failed to state a claim. The next argument in UMG's motion to dismiss is that Drake fails to state a claim under NYGBL section 349. That is, of course, under New York General Business Law. So finally, Drake says that UMG broke the law because they paid others undercover to promote Not Like Us. And the big issue was that UMG allegedly used bots to stream Not Like Us. Now, in order for Drake to prevail, he has to allege some things. One of the things was that UMG's conduct was consumer-oriented. 2, UMG's act or practice was deceptive or misleading in a material way. And 3, Drake suffered an injury as a result of that deception. Now, according to UMG, Drake claimed that an anonymous person said Kendrick's label paid him to use bots to get 30 million streams, but Not Like Us. Problem is, the anonymous person also said that he was hired by a guy named Anthony Saleh or Selah. But Anthony Saleh is Kendrick's manager, and he doesn't work for UMG or Interscope. In other words, even if it was true that that guy was paid to get 30 million streams, it ain't got nothing to do with UMG. So UMG officially told Drake and told his people about this. And Drake and his team said that they would withdraw that allegation. But Drake didn't change a thing, and he kept it in the complaint. So outside of the bots, the rest of Drake's claim is made on information and belief. He doesn't give any specifics. According to UMG, that claim also fails. And finally, UMG states, for all of the foregoing reasons, plaintiff's complaint should be dismissed with prejudice. So after all of that, UMG says that Drake's claim should be dismissed. You may or may not ask yourself why this is important. You may or may not ask yourself, why should you even watch a video like this, or why should you consider something such as the Drake and Kendrick beef and why these court cases are going on the way that they're going? Well, let me tell you why. Because the simple fact is, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, this lawsuit is bigger than hip hop. It's bigger. It's everything that we know of, everything that we've come to be is going to be impacted, in my opinion, by this one case. And it's going to open up a Pandora's box for so many other things. If Kendrick is not allowed to say, or UMG is not allowed to publish the things that were published, then it impacts everything in our everyday lives. You ever go to work and tell a joke, and it wasn't an off-color joke, it was just a regular old joke. But now, all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're getting a subpoena or a summons, because now you have to appear in court because somebody didn't like the way that you said what you said, or you did what you did, because the context was off and the tone was off, and it didn't matter anymore because this case made a decision that was the situation. Or say, for instance, there's a sitcom and you're an actor or an actress and you're out there and you're working your tail off in Hollywood or in New York or any other city, and you're trying to make it and you're trying to out for this sitcom. Sitcoms gone. They're done. Because the simple fact is, all of that language that's in sitcoms, all of that language is now impacted by something such as this. And plays, theater, Broadway, all of those scripts, total rewrites. Now, there may be some more jobs for the writers, but the bottom line is total rewrites. Movies, done. Once again, either they're going to be done or they're just going to be dry as hell. You know, you pick your poison. But grammar, just simple grammar, similes, idioms, metaphors, out the window. You can't use them anymore. You can go to class and your kid can go to class and now they can write something in creative writing class. And next thing you know, they've banned that. And of course, I already know what they're doing with some of the books because their books don't say what they want them to say. Well, the context and the tone is incorrect. This case here has so many implications, it's absolutely insane. And in my opinion, let me get this here before I knock myself out, but in my opinion, all figurative language is done. And the real bad part about it is that this really is a case of, I'm gonna take my ball and go home. Bottom line is, Drake lost the battle. He lost the battle, he lost the war, he lost everything associated with that exchange in diss tracks between him and Kendrick Lamar. He lost it. His stance will never let it go. But the bottom line is, yeah, he lost it. And at the end of the day, when this is all said and done, he's upset because he lost. Diss tracks and battle rap, you talk about each other. You talk about each other, you talk about each other's family members. Nothing is off or taboo. But in this particular case now, because he lost, now it has to be. And he knows it. And the reason why I believe that he knows it is because I don't think that Kendrick is, excuse me, Lord have mercy. I don't think that Drake is an unintelligent person. I really don't. I think he knows what he's doing. But I think he forgot. I think he forgot when he was doing those interviews when he was on Degrassi and he was talking about all of the artists that he liked, and all of the musicians and all of the hip hop artists that he liked. I think he forgot about that. And all those people that inspired him. I think he forgot about that. I think he forgot about what the true meaning of hip hop is. Hip hop ain't all about you. Hip hop is the culture. And that's what Kendrick keep trying to tell him and was trying to tell him over and over again. Kendrick is telling all of us that. It's about the culture. But because he wants to take his ball, meaning Drake, wants to take his ball and go home, that means we all have to lose out. And this will be one of those cases that they will talk about, not just in the next decade, but for many decades to come. It's not just about Drake and Kendrick. It's about, as they say, the freedoms that we cherish. Those are the things that this is about. So thanks for listening. Look, if you would be so kind and you got any value out of this video, please subscribe, because there's more to come. Please hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and tell other people about what we're doing here. Because we got a lot of things to say and we got a lot of things to talk about. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section. And until then, I'll talk to you later. And as I always say, what it is, what it do.